It's often said, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. This is my obsession, my lifestyle. This is my story, how I got into archery, hunting, and conservation. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the BowhuntingAZ podcast. Today, I'm going to cover the essentials needed as you begin to gear up for your first hunting trip. Thank you so much for your support on BowhuntingAZ's first episode. Please remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star review for the show. It'll really help us out. On our last episode, I did a light briefing on the basic pieces of equipment needed for the field. Today, I'll be diving deeper into the core essentials needed for hunting. Number 1, binos. Vortex Diamondback 12x50s personally is what I use. These binoculars are phenomenal. I come from a photography background, and so I'm used to having quality glass, quality lenses for my cameras, and these Diamondbacks are definitely quality glass. These things are so crystal clear, and I continuously get comments on them when I will throw them to a friend or something and have them use them. They're always shocked at how crystal clear they are. I believe they ran me about $250, and Vortex just has a phenomenal warranty. No questions asked, whether it was your fault or not. They've got your back, and just because of that warranty alone, I've got their binos, I've got a long-range scope, I've got a tactical scope for my AR-10, just solid company, and I can't recommend their binoculars enough. Number 2 is water, guys. Being in Arizona, water is life. I don't know how else to put it other than that. I have a Camelback, of course, just the bladder, 3 liters minimum. I drink about a gallon a day. I'm a big stickler on hydration, and I will easily go through that 3 liters in one day of hunting. I also carry a collapsible bladder. That's a 5-gallon bladder. And so if I'm at camp or something, I'll fill that 5-gallon bladder up with drinking water, filtered water, and that'll be my refill for my Camelback as soon as I get back to camp. Now, it's always good too to have some sort of other water solution. That's something I'll dive into deeper in another episode. But having that 3-liter Camelback bladder is definitely a minimum. As well, I keep extra water in the car at all times, whether it's 4 or 5 water bottles. You just never know what you're going to need, especially, like I said, if you're here in Arizona, it can get really hot sometimes. And even if it's winter, you can still get dehydrated. That's just something you do not want to run into out there. Also, I can't recommend enough electrolytes. My dad threw me just a thing of this Mio stuff. There's other companies out there too, simple Gatorade, Powerade, whatever. You're going to feel significantly night and day difference if you put those electrolytes back into your body after hitting it hard. It's just going to really help you recover better. You're going to feel better. I tend to get migraines and stuff sometimes if I go without water for too long or electrolytes. So those are all things that I do to combat that fatigue. And if you don't take care of your body, you're not going to hunt good. Another thing, number 3 is a knife. I did cook for quite a while, so knives are something that are familiar to me. That's something I have a background in, kind of. My wife got me for my birthday the Buck Knife 393 Omni Hunter. It is a beautiful knife. I think it runs about $60-$70. Sits really good in the palm of your hand. Has a good ridge on the back to lay your index finger along. I like to make clean sweeping motions with a knife when you're cutting something up. So being able to have that index finger sometimes behind it to keep control of the knife, and then also to put some muscle behind it too if you need to do something that's a little bit tougher. It's got a nice gut hook on the back as well that flows real well with the blade. And most importantly, for safety, the handle is rubberized to prevent slipping. Especially, say, if you're gutting an elk or something, it's going to be really important to make sure you have ultimate control of that blade and doesn't slip out of your hand and result in something bad happening. So number 4 is a pack. This is an area that I've struggled in. I'm currently using my dad's REI Trail 30 pack. It works really well. It was not designed for hunting by any means, but it works really well for me for now. Temporary solution, I guess. It's got a solid back brace, pockets where they're needed in convenient places. The side straps on it, unfortunately, interfere with my sidearm. That is one thing here in Arizona. I mean, there are mountain lions, bobcats sometimes. If you were to spook one, they could be aggressive. Definitely bears. So it's really something that to me kind of was an issue. So when you go to choose a pack, make sure it's something that flows well with the setup that you want to have when you're out there. I really want to be able to access my sidearm, especially when I'm archery hunting. It's important to me, whether it could be a rattlesnake even or something like that. So look at the layout of a pack before you make an ultimate decision. Maybe even go as far as printing out a couple pictures of them, compare it side by side, and see what makes best for you. Tenzing is definitely something I'm going to look at. They're a great company that specialize in the packs, and it seems to be the way to go. I've been at different local sporting goods stores, and I've had my eyes set on two different models of theirs. It's called the TX17, runs about $150. Great pack. It's kind of one of like the lower end entry models, and it seems to have a really good layout. I like the way it laid on my back. I can tend to have some back issues after a long day, especially if my pack doesn't sit right and mold well with my build and stuff. So it's really important to me how that back lays, the padded side of the pack lays against my back is super important. Another one is, if you want to spend a little bit more, would be the TZ3000. That is, I believe, in their big game series, something you would definitely want to be more gunning for if you're going to be hauling out elk or anything, bear, anything larger. I'm sure the TX would probably pull through for you for something like that. But if you want to, I like to buy once rather than buy something bigger later on and start it off small in the beginning. So I'll probably end up doing the TZ3000. That runs about $300 and some change. Number 5, GPS. I've been screaming. It's all over my website. It was in the last podcast. OnX Hunt. I can't recommend this enough. $30 for a year. You get a statewide map. You can buy other states if you want to. You can save all the maps offline if you have service and Wi-Fi and stuff while you're at home. It works just like Google Maps. And then when you want to go out in the field, before you leave, you can save those maps in a 5, 10, or 15-mile radius. The smaller radius that you go, the higher resolution the map gets for you. And it is super essential to have those while you're out there because you will not have cell service. And I cannot tell you how many times it has come in handy for me. There's been a lot of times this past year where I've been walking back in almost pitch black darkness, and it's great because if you turn on the setting, it'll track where you're walking. It'll show it on the map. And there have been a couple times where I thought for sure I was right next to my car. I'm looking around. I didn't see it anywhere. Pulled out my phone, saw the tracking and where I had walked previously, and noticed, I wasn't quite where I thought I was. So it's definitely something that you would want to look into having. You can drop waypoints. You can change the icons on each waypoint to a bunch of different things. Your tent, trail cam, different, deer, elk, bear, tracks, wallow, water source. I mark a lot of water sources. I'll sit at home and try and mark as many water sources as I can and kind of check those as I go along my way out there. Definitely, if you're using this, I put it in airplane mode, so I try not to burn as much battery as possible. A backup power source is something that you're really going to want if you're using your cell phone heavily, because you never know when an emergency may arise and you're going to need that cell power. I'll cover a backup power source in another episode when I get into all these trinkets and tech stuff for hunters. So if you want to go a little higher scale, you can do the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus. That's something that I've been looking at. That runs about $379. Kind of looks like a mini cell phone. It's a bright neon orange. It's got all the bells and whistles. I mean, you can save maps. You can even, if you want to pay like a small annual fee, you can do satellite texting. I believe I heard a photographer in Rocky Mountain National Park, he uses this, and I think this is the model that he said his wife can be at home with their desktop up and the app open, and she can watch exactly where in the park he is hiking. I hope this is the model, but that was something that really intrigued me. My wife is not the most directionally savvy person, and so me taking screenshots of onX Hunt maps and trying to tell her where I'm going to be is not always the most useful thing. So being able to have something that could be opened, and, you know, if she had to call the authorities and say, oh, he's here, and she could show them where exactly I'm at, that would be something that would be, you know, definitely life-saving. And hopefully this is something too that they might be able to more easily triangulate if they had to do something crazy like that. So these are the top 5 things that I really recommend you have before you even step foot outside and go outdoors. It's super essential to have these in order, kind of lay them out and which one's the most important to you. If you have something already, it's, you know, just a backpack that you're content with, then you can kind of shift things as you want. I want to thank you for listening to the BowhuntingAZ podcast. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at BowhuntingAZ. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can do so at BowhuntingAZ88@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the episodes with a friend. If you'd like to purchase any BowhuntingAZ shirts or vehicle decals to show your support, you can send a DM on social media or email us directly. A store will be coming shortly to the website. In the meantime, have a great week. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next episode.